I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go! I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man!
Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, podcast from iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms on social media. And obviously, we're going to be talking all things boxing today. Wilder Ortiz 2, breakdown and review, plus all the other fights this weekend. Callum Smith, John Ryder. Was it a robbery? Because I know some people out there got the pitchforks up. They're hating. They're saying it's a robbery. And maybe they're right. I don't know. Obviously, we're going to get to debate that and discuss that. Plus, Andrew Cancio losing to Rene Alvarado in a rematch and then getting let go by Golden Boy Promotions is complete and utter trash from Golden Boy Promotions. Going to break that topic down. Plus, Bob Arum had a huge article or interview, I should say, with Lance Pugmire of The Athletic, and a lot of stuff to dissect and discuss from that article. So much to get to on today's show. But I'm joined, as usual on these shows, by the lovely gentlemen, UK Rob and Gary from Dallas. But first, let me go to Rob. Okay, Rob, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Have we got the echo? Is it there? No? Are we good? All right, cool. Oh,
maybe a little bit.
It's Gary's fault. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. I know there's been a bit of a break. I know Matt did a solo show on Friday, but yeah, trying to get I don't want to say the three amigos because I feel bad for Foo, but you know.
It's true.
Yeah, we're finally all together. Finally all back together, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, so let's get on with it because it's already 18 minutes past 10 p.m.
We're gonna go over to Gary, our new lead singer of Van Halen, obviously, since we replaced Foogatti, the original. Gary, how are you, man?
Who was the original? It was Sammy Hagar? No,
yeah.
Roth. Hagar was the original, and then David Lee Roth replaced Hagar. Rob, this was your generation. This is your question.
Yeah, Rob, this is actually like totally a question for you. You should know this.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know.
I think it's David Lee Roth was first, because there's the David Lee Roth like truthers out there, right? And that usually happens when you're the first singer, and then Sammy Hagar was next. I want to say that's how it was.
I'm not going to Google it.
So you are the Sammy Hagar to Foo's David Lee Roth, Gary.
Might as well jump.
Gary Hagar.
See what you did there.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I prefer David Lee Roth.
Gary, how are you doing, man?
Good. It's been a while. I had a hellish doctor's appointment that went for like 12 hours. Then I was in New York. And I got those.
Woohoo.
The baby blue. The Tar Heel blue. 11s. So it was a good week. And then it was a sneaky great week of boxing, too. Like a lot of good fights. The Cancio Alvarado fight was really good. There was another fight on the undercard, which I don't really want to talk about, which was really high action fight. Lots of good on the undercard of Ortiz Wilder.
Because Figueroa didn't win. I get it now. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Zhu Shan. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I thought.
I was about to get disrespectful with Gary right there, talking about Zhu Shan that way.
And then we had a robbery in the UK, so we'll get into all that.
It's bullshit.
So much to get to. It's going to be great. But let's get to the marquee fight, obviously, of the weekend, which was Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz, the rematch. And, I mean, Rob and Gary, you guys were right. I mean, honestly, you guys said that this fight was going to be easier than the first fight. It ended in quicker fashion. There was no real damage sustained from to Deontay Wilder. And he finished him with really the first significant punch of the night. And, I mean, we're to a point now where Wilder's limited skill set is so efficient, so effective that do we need to have the conversation still of like Wilder is still not a complete boxer, he still doesn't throw to the body, he still doesn't do X, Y, and Z because he doesn't obviously care about X, Y, and Z, right? He's a fighter that's now really realized I can do A, B, and C. I can't do the whole entire alphabet, but I can do A, B, and C better than anyone else. I'm going to do that over and over again. I'm going to win fights. And on top of that, clearly one of the heaviest hitters probably in heavyweight history. Like, because he is doing it with less. Because he is knocking out these guys in such dramatic fashion with such relative ease without the complete skill set. I mean, yes, we really don't know anything new out of this fight, which is weird. But yet, I think everyone seems to come away from this with more respect to Deontay Wilder because I think we're finally realizing what he is and what really he isn't, and maybe stop caring about what he isn't per se. But guys, thoughts on this fight?
I came away with two things from it. First, the Beatles wrote a song about it. It was called "One." All you need is one, and all Deontay Wilder.
I haven't got my soundboard ready. I thought you meant I am the walrus. I was like,
the best part is I did not see Gary setting up that joke until he set it up. And bravo, Gary. Bravo.
Like, help. Fucking I am the walrus? What? I don't fucking know.
Chill.
All you need is one.
I'm not doing the soundboard. I can't.
No one has a soundbite?
No. Sorry.
Hang on. I'll get it. You just
the other
more. I'll get it ready.
The other big takeaway I had from this is Usyk would school Wilder. Like, it wouldn't even be fun. It would be a 12-round, we're going to school, little one. It would be 12 rounds of that.
I don't know about that.
I do. I'll get into it more why I see that.
Witherspoon touched him up.
What is that song? I believe the Beatles had it. Is all you need is one. Deontay Wilder just needs one shot.
Yo, and Witherspoon landed like a good 24 of right hands on
they
poor
were
Usyk.
big shots. They were like...
they weren't big shots because it was Witherspoon throwing them. But when Deontay Wilder throws one, it's fight changing. But
do you think Witherspoon put hands on Usyk?
We've done this. We've done this. Carry on with your Wilder take. About the fight.
Okay. The fight was what I thought it was going to be. I thought Ortiz won the first 5 rounds. And then I thought Wilder probably won the 6th. And then it ended abruptly in the 7th. That's kind of what I was expecting. I want to have this conversation. And I think his name's going to go there with David Tua. Is Ortiz the best heavyweight recently? I can't go back to the 40s and 60s. But is Ortiz the best heavyweight recently in the last 25 years to not win a heavyweight title? Because he's not. Can we acknowledge now he's never going to win a heavyweight strap?
Probably not. I mean, maybe in some way he beats like Andy Ruiz or like an AJ maybe. But even then, like he would not be the favorite in those fights. Like we can all agree on that. He's not the favorite in those fights.
He could beat Manuel Cha.
Does Manuel Cha still have the WBA regular?
I think so.
I think so. But anyways, you probably so. In the last 20, 25 years, he is one of, if not the best heavyweight to not win a belt.
David Tua?
No, Ortiz.
Ortiz.
I never thought Tua was as great as I think maybe you're saying. I think he was a great perennial top 15 guy, but not Luis Ortiz, where like he was this close to winning a belt. This close. And even in the second fight, he was winning every round basically. He was schooling Wilder. Wilder looked like he had nothing for him until that knockout.
Ortiz is such the better boxer, right? But Ortiz is 40, and he once he settled down, Wilder could time him and hit him with a right. Usyk doesn't sit still. Usyk doesn't sit down, so you can't time Usyk like you can time Ortiz, which is why Wilder's going to have no chance of landing that big shot.
Witherspoon timed him.
All right.
Anyways, Rob.
Ortiz has been 40 for the last 3 years.
Anyways, Rob, your thoughts on Wilder Ortiz?
Yeah, it's kind of what I expected, to be honest. And I agree, Matt. I think people need to perhaps get over the fact that he's a shit boxer. He's this, that, and the other. He's just looking for that. He's looking for that knockout, and when he finds it, he keeps winning. I think one day he's not going to find it. Maybe it'll be in the Tyson Fury rematch, or I think there'll be a moment where he doesn't land it, and someone will wobble him again. We've seen Molina wobble him a little bit. We've seen other guys put him under some pressure, but I think will come a time where that his get out of jail card doesn't work. But at the moment, you can't knock it. I mean, this fight for me, it was like 6-0, losing the 7th. But he was just like, it's like he was got the tracking radar like a heat seeker, and it was just trying to lock onto the target. And then he threw out the left hand as like a rangefinder, and then bang. And Luis Ortiz's face goes viral. And
Curtis Stevens style.
Yeah, game over. And, I'm sort of past the Joshua Wilder saga's done. I'm past like looking to clown on Wilder. Yeah, he says some dumb shit. Yes, he says a lot, and it just makes you like want to zone out. But yeah, he's never gonna be the back foot, tricky head movement, etc. He's not going to be that guy. He's just got phenomenal power, and he's just looking to land that shot. And for me, the biggest improvement in Wilder recently is the wildness has gone. There seems to be more patience. I mean, admittedly, he didn't actually hurt Brazil to then go wild, because the shot that landed was enough, and the shot that landed on Ortiz was enough. Usually when he thinks the guy's hurt, that's when we see the textbook, not textbook shots come winging in from the lights and all kinds of directions. But for me, I think his patience seems a bit like he knows. I think he now knows,
yes,
I'm never going to be the boxer. I'm never going to be this. And that's fine, because I keep doing what I do. And I think his confidence has grown with that. And I think, although he might not say it, I truly think he thinks he's invincible at the moment. And I don't blame him, because, like I say, Ortiz potentially was looking at going 7-0 up in that fight, and he just ended it one shot. And I'm sorry, the whole hardest. I'm zoned out now on Twitter regarding he's the heaviest puncher in boxing history. I don't know.
That conversation doesn't matter, because I think first off, none of us are educated enough on boxing history to probably have that conversation. Let's just be honest.
None of us have been punched by all of the people being mentioned. So.
But regardless, I think Wilder is in that conversation. Like, he's in the top 20 heaviest hitters of all time.
He's knocking everybody out. That's just no. It's not like. Yeah, but chins in the 2000s, were different. It's like, no, he's still punching grown men out that are usually 20, 30, 40 pounds heavier than him. So, shout out to him. It's kind of like I say, it was what I expected, and he got the job done. Yeah,
agreed. Guys, any other thoughts on like Wilder Ortiz? I mean, I feel like we're all in consensus here, which is odd.
In what regard? The actual fight or the
night?
Fight?
You want to talk about the night? I mean, you want to talk about how successful you guys feel like it was? Obviously, we don't know pay-per-view numbers yet. We don't really know gate numbers yet even. I know you've been trying to find that out from Nevada.
Oh, no, that was for other stuff. But
I know you, but you guys obviously for the California for the first fight, for the Fury fight, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
So I know you're sort of on the hunt to get the attendance numbers and everything like that.
That kind of went dark on that. Never got released as such. Like trying to find that out. That was kind of.
It's going to come out eventually. Like think about the Fury Schwartz fight. Those numbers came out late in the cycle, so to speak. That came out almost like a month, I want to say, after the fight when we found out.
Wilder Fury was almost a year ago.
No. I know about that. I'm talking about now Wilder Ortiz.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, the interesting thing is sources. We had it the day after the fight, right? That it was tracking for Spence Porter. Didn't we get them? It was literally the day after. and it was all, I think, Mike Coppinger. Sources are saying it's tracking at like 400,000 or whatever.
I don't know if it was the day after. I don't want to go that far.
I think it was literally a day or maybe two. But yeah, no, I'm not thinking of that. But interestingly, I think it was on the Chris Mannix podcast. Dan Raphael said, obviously, this has done very poor attendance. They gave, what did he say? They gave away like a gazillion tickets for this and still barely managed to get 10,000 in the arena. But look, if it's done 400,000, 375,000 buys, then I don't think the gate's much of an issue, right? It's not the majority of the money coming in. So
I think the gate's going to be just fine. I mean, I think the pay-per-view number is going to be just fine. I don't know what the gate was. I mean, again, I think it's going to do over 400,000 pay-per-view sales, and that's just a hunch based on all of the advertising. And
Wilder was number one trending on social media. Like Wilder, just him, not the fight. Wilder was trending number one in the world by the end of the fight.
I think that can still happen though in this day and age, and it doesn't mean
absolutely
people paid for the fight, right?
No, absolutely, but it still, I think, means I did a healthy number.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm not saying it did a million. I'm saying it did a healthy number. I think Gary's probably right. It probably did around the 400,000 mark.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
that
was my prediction. I think
you said like 375. I think that's a healthy number for it.
Yeah,
I think it definitely beats Wilder Fury numbers with Showtime.
Which is crazy because Fury's a star and Ortiz isn't, but they've just marketed it right, and I guess Wilder the star just continues to grow.
And the marketing machine behind it,
for me, it's the issue regarding the rumored 20 million for Wilder and the rumored 7 million for Ortiz. How many buys does it need to do to even cover the purses, right?
Well, I think this fight's not going to cover the purses. Like from all the articles that I've seen and read, it's always in the context that the Wilder Fury fight is going to be the payoff. Not really.
They're all going to get their money back. Yeah.
Yes, that they think that's going to do over 1 million buys. And to be honest, look, Fury's boxing track record this year has been bad, but the crossover appeal with the WWE fans, I think, has been helpful. I think they have definitely done certain things to make that fight on paper be 1 million pay-per-view buy buster.
Hypothetically, what do you think
done the right things?
Hypothetically, what do you think does more buys? Wilder Fury or Wilder Andy Ruiz? Should Ruiz knock Joshua out again? Assuming that.
I don't know.
More excitement for a Ruiz fight, knowing that it'll be an exciting fight. Personally,
but
I think
Wilder Fury was exciting.
Only because he got up.
No, that was a great fight. That was fantastic. That was a fantastic heavyweight fight. I'll say this. I think it's marginal. I think both are highly, highly successful events, right?
But like, I didn't even think of the WWE thing. And I'm just in my head like, what did Wilder do to make that fight grow that? I mean, Fury do to make that fight grow that much? But you're right. Like that WWE. You said like their regular televised weekly shows do 5 million live viewers and things like that. Like,
yes,
yeah, you're putting them out in front of 5 million people every week. That's
5 million. I mean, come on, guys. This is the whole like Matchroom KSI argument. Like you're putting yourself out there to a different audience. Hopefully, you get some retention. Whatever that retention is, it's a different audience. So you're bringing in new eyeballs potentially.
Right, and it's a better model because they're looking to only get them for one buy. Right, they just want their $75 for that one fight where. That's not DAZN's business model. They want the $20 a month.
Not necessarily that even, but like the WWE audience is far more acceptable or susceptible to combat sports. There is a crossover there. There's not really a crossover of YouTubing vlog fans and combat sports, but WWE pro wrestling, yeah, there's been a documented case of a crossover appeal from fans. From promoting tactics, business models. Like there's a clear similarity. WWE and pro wrestling as a whole, I would say, is part of combat sports. I know that might be controversial, but I think it is. It's just more of a theatrical, scripted version of it, but it is under the same umbrella in terms of its nature and how it's worked out. But
I bet you're right? Because I bet I did. Y'all watched WWE or WWF when me and Rob were kids as kids, right? Like
yes, as kids, yes.
Right. I have a 6-year-old nephew who was a WWE junkie, and he saw Tyson Fury, and now he started watching boxing, right? Like it. I mean, they're not related, but they are kind of thing.
Absolutely. And far like more tangible and documented ways. Like just type in pro wrestling and MMA, pro wrestling, combat sports. Just type that into Google. You're gonna read great articles and great exposés on the similarities between these things. But digressing from that, I think the night was overall a success for PBC and for Fox. I mean, whether or not it's a true money maker, I think kind of doesn't matter. I think Evan, what's his last name? God,
Matansky.
Yeah. Aficionados. Again, check out his podcast. Great source of information. He was talking about this being more of like a marketing experiment. I think it's sort of like the way he wanted to phrase it with this event. That Fox was just sort of experimenting what they can do with the model, their machine, with this type of fight, and in all intents and purposes, it was a successful experiment. Even if it didn't make truly a money for them, it was leading on all social media platforms. Companies care about that more than maybe making money at times.
Yeah, and to think this is like the first year of them trying it, working alongside and pushing it on, with their other content. So lessons will be learned if there's things they can improve. So imagine, next year or things in the right direction. That doing it right. I think with things like NFL, WWE, it can only help. It can't be a bad thing.
And PSK saying WWE is targeted for kids. Yeah, but also look at the viewership demographics. Like the 18 to the 35 demo is massive in the WWE sport or world.
Towards WWE is that 18 to 35 demo. I mean, kids will watch it because it's entertaining, but I mean, that's not. I would say their prime audience is 18 to 35, just
which for corporations is the number one demo they go after.
Yeah, sadly, there's grown adults out there that fucking believe that shit.
I have a lot of friends that are in my age group, if not older, that love pro wrestling.
I do too. Like, I don't like. Why does it bother you? Like, I can see it irritates you, Rob. I can see that. Like, why do you care if someone likes? They know it's not real, but neither is comic book movies. But do you watch comic book movies? That's not real either.
Wait, which ones? Which
can we all admit though that comic book movies have far better production value than pro wrestling events?
Yes, because it's a motion picture as opposed to a Monday night. Is it still on USA Network? Like, what channel is Raw?
No, it's on Fox. It's on Fox.
It's on Fox now. Both of them Monday. Okay.
See, if boxers stamp the floor as they punch their opponent, it'd sound like they hit them even harder, wouldn't it?
I think Broner does that.
Yeah, used to.
Anyways, digressing.
Why do you hate it, Rob? Like, why does the mention of WWE?
Rob is Ebenezer Scrooge, Gary. Like, imagine Michael Caine in the Muppets Christmas Carol. That is Rob.
Look, Gary's Kermit right now.
Rob, you didn't. This is my boy Alex Vargas. He's with Star Boxing. He fought this past week in New York. I checked this fight. Guys, watch him. He's a 140-pounder.
Where can they watch him, Gary? Where can they watch him? Is it on YouTube? Fight Pass?
You can go to Facebook Live, and that's where they stream the fight. Star Boxing still has it on their page. Alex Vargas, he's from New York, Long Island. He's 5'0", 140-pounder.
Okay, I'll be sure.
I'll check him out. He's better name than Rigatoni. Gotta say that.
And it's not even a Texas fighter, Rob. Come on.
Why has he got a bull? Why are you?
They call him El Toro.
Oh, okay.
In Spanish, it means the Toro.
Okay. Brilliant.
Anyways, digressing.
Every day.
Rob is Ebenezer Scrooge. That's why he hates pro wrestling. I don't really like it, but there's times I'll watch a clip online and I'm like, oh, that's entertaining.
Are you telling me you didn't enjoy Hell in the Cell between Mankind and Undertaker?
I have no I know who Undertaker is. I know what that first phrase you said. I know vaguely what that is. Don't think I ever watched that.
Go on Daily Motion and watch Hell in the Cell between Mankind and Undertaker. I guarantee you'll be thoroughly.
No, again, like I said, there's times I'm entertained, but I'm not going out there trying to find it.
You've got more chance of me going on Facebook Live and watching Alex El Toro on that fight than I have of watching WWE.
Good. If you have to watch,
I wasn't gonna watch El Toro.
If you have to watch one of the two things, watch Alex Vargas. He's trained by Andre Rozier. Watch that. But what are you doing? What do you have that all day that you can't find 5 minutes to watch a fight, like 10 minutes to watch a fight. Like, how busy are you? You might want to
Wait.
There's a lot more fights.
Fight.
Air quote. Did it go the distance?
It's a 6-rounder. It went this.
Oh, talking about the Vargas fight. Sorry, I was talking about the Hell in the Cage or Hell in the Cell, whatever.
Oh no, fuck that.
Anyways, digressing. Moving on to the fights. Leo Santa Cruz defeating Miguel Flores. And here's the thing.
Oh, apparently he had a virus, by the way. He had a virus.
Look, here's the thing. He still threw like over 1,000 punches this fight. Oh my god.
Yeah, I saw the punch that. I was like, didn't it seem like that fight was a little bit boring? Like, I didn't count.
Here's why this fight was boring, guys. Because if you think about it, like this fight from a pure like technical perspective wasn't really any different than this like the second Abner Mares fight in terms of punch output, style of fight. However, we thought the Mares fight was competitive. We thought Mares had a chance to win. So there's a sense of threat. There's a sense of danger with that fight and that matchup. There was no sense of danger, of drama, of a threat here with Miguel Flores to Leo Santa Cruz. So that's why I think people largely checked out, even though this fight was, technically speaking, the same Leo Santa Cruz fight we've always seen, which is a exciting, air quote, fight. But it's not an exciting opponent. It's not an exciting matchup. There's no drama to the matchup. Therefore, we don't care. It's boring by default.
No power. Susan threw 1,500 punches. I'm not impressed by 1,000 anymore.
And think about this. Sorry, like it's a similar way to like almost like Fury Wallin. Like that fight was entertaining, right? But is that going to be on anyone's fight of the year candidate list? No. But if that was, let's say, a Fury Andy Ruiz matchup, and that fight looked that way, we would all say, "Oh, that's going to be fight of the year matchup," or it's a fight of the year candidate. Why? Because the stakes were different. You know, the sense of threat in that matchup was different. I think that's sort of the same thing here. Like there was no sense of drama or like this is a high stakes, high octane matchup. It's just Leo throwing 1,000 punches again to a guy that he should be getting out of there sooner.
Yeah, he's got no pop really, has he?
No, never has.
And now he wants to fight Gary Russell.
I mean, I thought the Santa Cruz performance was workmanlike. Like there was nothing wrong with it. It's just not that. That's Foo's number 6 pound for pound guy. Just to put that out there, Foo thinks that's the 6th best fighter in the world. Let's put that to the side. Like there was nothing wrong with the performance. I just don't think there was anything particularly good about the performance either. You know, I thought Flores won rounds. I had it like 9-3 or 8-4. Like I thought Flores did okay. I mean, I didn't think he was going to get knocked out. If Flores could punch, that's a totally different fight. But Flores can't punch.
Yep. Moving on to a really good fight. Brandon Figueroa, not defeating. Whoa. Having a draw with Julio Ceja in a really fun fight. Probably going to be on that top 15, top 20 sort of fight of the year list that we make at December time. And this was one of those fights where it did have high octane, high pace action, and there was a threat of danger throughout. Both guys were getting clipped at times, and I was thinking, oh, this is where it's going to happen. Someone's going to get hurt right now. They're going to follow it up, and then Figueroa recovered, Ceja recovered, and they kept throwing bombs. And this was just a fantastic, fantastic fight that I was just amazed to see. I mean, honestly, this was one of the best fights of the year, and obviously the best fight of the weekend, in my opinion. And one of the few times
Sorry, go.
One of the few times I'm completely okay with the draw. I'll be honest.
Would it have been different had Ceja actually made the weight?
In terms of what do you mean by different? The matchup itself, like how?
Yeah, did that 4.5 pounds that he missed the weight
probably
make him a bit more
durable?
Durable, yeah.
Yeah,
plus
probably.
whatever he rehydrated to. Yeah, he didn't even make fucking featherweight. So.
It's quite possible. I mean, we saw it in not the same way, but like Oscar Valdez, Scott Quigg.
Yeah.
Similar sort of.
Yeah.
I think if Scott Quigg actually made the weight, would that fight have been the hellscape it was for Oscar Valdez? I don't know. Same way here, but then again, I think Ceja is a really talented fighter in the same way that Scott Quigg was a really talented fighter. So I don't put too much stock in that. And same with like the person that ends up winning, or in this case having a draw with him. They're talented fighters too. So like sometimes these things happen, and you have to overcome these issues. And Figueroa accepted the fight. He took the money. Obviously, when a fighter misses weight, you take a portion of their paycheck. So he took the fight. There's no excuses there. He took the fight knowing that the guy was overweight, knowing that he was going to recover in terms of even more weight than even possible because of that. And he still put on an amazing show. Like Brandon Figueroa looked fantastic in there at times. Obviously,
not defensively,
but that's him. In the same way we talk about Wilder in a way where we need to stop expecting them to be the complete fighter because that's not what they are. They're a specialist. Figueroa is a specialist. He does one thing or a group of things very well. Can he be a complete fighter? No, that's never going to be him. But what he does very, very well. And the times he does switch stances and put combinations together in fluid motion, it is something to see. He does leave his chin out a little bit too high at times. If he tucked that in a little bit more, I think he would save himself some damage. But minor adjustment.
He's just a bit young to be getting in fucking wars like that. That's
Yeah, it happens. Gary, I mean, you're the big Brandon Figueroa fan.
Resident Figueroa's. I 4 rounds in, I thought Figueroa had won the first one. He was in control, and it was kind of like Barrios. I just don't even know what Figueroa was doing wrong. I guess it was Ceja figured something out, but I don't know. I thought Figueroa was fighting like he always does, and then just something happened in the 5th round. It was the same thing as the
Barrios Akhmedov.
Right, yeah. It's I don't know. I thought the first 4 rounds, I thought Figueroa won, and I was like, okay, good. He's doing his thing. He'll stop in middle 8 rounds. I thought he won the 12th round, which he had to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't know if that was enough, but I couldn't score because my heart was in my throat. At the 6th round, I was like, uh-oh, this ain't going great. I think if Ceja had to cut 4 more pounds, the difference it would make was he wouldn't have, because Ceja won probably 9, 10, 11. Mm-hmm. Maybe he would have tired a little bit. Maybe he would have fatigued a little bit, and Figueroa could have won those rounds. But Ceja was sharp, and I think Figueroa is 22. Maybe, but I guess he's technically a champ. I know we wouldn't say he is, but
he's not.
He's not. I agree, but he thinks he is.
Stop.
Thank you, Rob. So proud today. Guys, you should have heard it. Rob was out there telling Gary, hey, your audio is sounding bad. You got to fix it. I almost shed a tear of just pride.
Talking to the mic, not over here, not over here.
It was such a moment of oh my God, my kid grew up right there. It was so beautiful. Anyways, back to Gary and talking about Brandon Figueroa.
It was, again, I don't even know, if I was in his corner, I don't even know what I would tell him to do differently or what he's not doing.
I know what I would tell him. I mean, I feel like it's easy. He telegraphs his shots a lot when he starts throwing to a combination. He literally opens up his stance to throw a shot at times. That is textbook boxing 101 issues and deficiencies.
But he was landing his shots, right?
It's not about the offense. Now I got to think about defensively. How can you better up your game to make that group of skills and your expertise even better? Because that's what you got to think about now, right? Is how to shore up his style. And how to shore up that style is A, those combinations need to be tighter. B, you need to stop telegraphing your shots. And when he does telegraph his shots, the way he does is he opens up and sticks his chin out.
I'm talking about what can I change in between round 6 and 7? You know what I'm saying? What you're talking about needs to be fixed in the gym, right? We need to go back to the gym and fix that.
Oh, okay.
In between these rounds to get you back into what we were doing in the first 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing I would probably tell him is before you enter into a combination, jab or double jab into it. Still work off of an offensive style and technique and tactic, because that's what he is. He's an offensive fighter, right? So if he's having issues and you're not going to tell him, hey, you got to slip shots better, you got to roll under, because he's not going to do that. You got to tell him offensively what to change up. And offensively, he has to jab in to those combinations a little bit more, because he's hooking into the combinations. And because of those technical issues, he is opening himself up to those counters that Ceja was landing, because he was landing those check hooks consistently on Figueroa.
Head movement, he usually slips punches coming in, and it wasn't doing it. I couldn't score it because I couldn't settle myself down to fine tune the scoring. Okay. Like I thought maybe he won the 7th and maybe he won the 10th, but they probably could have won. As long as you had it somewhere 7-5 or 6-6, you probably got the scorecard. Your score's probably right.
Yeah, I had 6-6 after the fight, but I went back. I thought Figueroa did enough to edge it, to be honest, but I have no issues with that draw. Like, that's one of those fights I'm completely okay with, and I do want to see them run it back. Like, I do want to see this fight again.
Figueroa, but he's got to make weight. He can't come in. Like, if I were him, I wouldn't have taken the weight, but he's Texas tough, so obviously he's going to take the fight. But he shouldn't. The guy missed 126. Like, he comes in at 123, that's one thing. He comes in at 126.5. No, we're not fighting.
If you're not going to take that, then obviously maybe just go straight to the Rigo fight. Like here's the thing with Figueroa, like, because of his style, you have to sort of expedite him. You have to treat him like Fernando Vargas in a way. Like,
I don't know how much longer he can make 22. Like, he might, yeah.
Like Fernando Vargas, like he was never the fighter to really like win the biggest fights, and plus he started getting damaged too young. So they just started putting him in all the biggest fights to make all that money quickly, so he'd be set. And right. Fernando Vargas now is
Trinidad, and then he was done.
And you talk to like Fernando Vargas now, like he's set, he's happy. He took damage and such, and he's not in the best shape now, but he made money in his career, and he did it in a far quicker fashion than anyone else. And I think the Figueroas, you have to treat him like Fernando Vargas. Get him the big fights, give him those big money fights as quickly as possible. Don't worry about the L's, because if they take L's, they can rebound, and they're kind of a big enough local draw and sort of just a Mexican draw that you can rely on them as a B-side as well, in my opinion. So I think you put him in all the big fights now.
The fight that I really wanted to see, I thought was going to be like war where we could like do it 2 or 3, 4 times. It never gets old as him and Santa Cruz, but now Santa Cruz went to 130, which is like, like him and Santa Cruz, just like the amount of punches, the amount of offense, like that would be like an instant classic. And now I don't know if it will ever happen, because now it's 2 weight classes.
I always wanted Leo versus Oscar Valdez at 126 in LA. I always wanted that fight. Digressing. Ludin Bartolome losing to Eduardo Ramirez in dramatic upset fashion. Eduardo Ramirez finishing Ludin Bartolome in the 4th round via TKO. Kind of just beat him up in the process. It was really shocking, but not really, because, Ludin Bartolome is, in the spirit of brothers in combat sports, there's always one brother that just isn't as good as the other brother. And and Ludin Bartolome is not Rancy's Bartolome, just clearly. And even Rancy's isn't the greatest. A little bit overrated.
No, this one, even though they got knocked out, was more exciting than the Rancy's.
Anything's more exciting than that Easter fight. And then what else do we have here? Not really. Omar Juarez picked up a win. He looked really good in the first few rounds. Looked like he was about to get the finish, but just didn't.
He finished him in the last round.
Oh, he did finish him in the last round? Oh, yes, he did. Sorry, my bad.
The right hand that chicken dance.
He was struggling for that finish, though, and I like that he settled back, worked behind his jab more. Like, he did the right things in adjusting to not getting that early finish.
Yeah, I didn't force it.
No, and plus he does look like he's not necessarily the goods, like he's going to be a future world champion, but he looks like he is a natural, and that's a big thing. Like, he passes the eye test for a prospect in a big way more than Hector Tanahara.
I agree. I think if you had to say who's going to win more world titles, Juarez is going to win more world titles.
Yeah, 1.
Marcellus Wilder lost in devastating fashion to Dustin Long.
Ooh. Speaking of, I saw a tweet, and it was from a writer, and now I can't remember the writer, but he said, in his opinion, having spoken to Marcellus a few times, he feels like he is a fighter that is seeking the approval of his brother, and that maybe boxing isn't his passion, and that he said, just from my being around him, it's like he's doing boxing for the wrong reasons. And he got, I don't want to say like ice, but damn, he caught a big left hand. And
I want to mention 2 things about this. Are you done, Rob? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think Rob's done, yeah.
Okay. I don't understand why the anti-Wilder fanatics, like the anti-Deontay Wilder fanatics, like why this makes him happy. Like, It's like some kind of weird pornography where they get stimulated by something that's not real. Like you understand,
Whoa.
didn't get iced. Like you get that, right? Like his brother, who started
Gary.
30, got iced. Go ahead.
Yeah. There was no erection going on, but I did find it funny. All right, there's no pornography sort of sense
If you're
to
the
it.
biggest Golden State Warriors fan and Seth Curry on the Mavericks misses 2 free throws, you go, ha, look how bad Steph Curry sucked. Steph Curry didn't miss any free throws. Like, I don't understand, like, why the Wilder haters, like, and I like Wilder. I'm not a big Wilder fan. Why
don't you get it? I don't understand.
I feel like it's pretty obvious why like people that are hateful hate other things. like there's no like real rhyme or reason. They just hate Wilder, so his brother's gonna get hate too. Like I feel like it's pretty obvious. Why is it stupid? Yeah, I think it's stupid.
If Matt had a brother, I fucking wouldn't like him either.
I'm sure he'd be a fine guy. Probably
a bit cranky. Probably like if he's a younger brother, he's like a 30-year-old, like fucking 11-year-old. You know what I mean?
Like what? How cranky that's gonna be when he's actually like Rob's age? Like when he's actually a old man.
He would have chilled out by then. He'd be like.
Yes, I think that's what's gonna happen, guys. I think I'm just gonna chill out. Actually, like I'm like Benjamin Button in terms of like rage and pent up anger. Like instead of being like an old curmudgeon, I get that when I was a kid.
You're gonna look older but act younger. That's gonna be great. Yeah.
Digressing though.
Gary, I don't know where you're.
I do think Wilder's brother Marcellus Wilder should probably not be boxing. I've only met him once and seen him train once in person, and he didn't look the part then. And that was before I think his first pro fight, and he still has not improved at all. So
that's his second. That was his second loss, right? He got knocked out on another fight.
Yeah,
which he did.
Wasn't one of them? Wasn't there a fight where it was like a non? Questionable. Whatever happened. But
well, yeah, he got popped for something. It wasn't the loss though; it was a separate fight.
Yeah. So it's like the 2 knockouts
and then no contest.
Whatever it was, he failed for. If that's the case, but alleged.
Any thoughts on the undercard, guys? Omar Juarez, Luda Bartholomew, Eduardo Ramirez, Vito Milanicki Jr. picked up a win.
Yeah, he looks good.
No, he doesn't. I mean, like he looks fine, but like that's a great white hype. Like seriously, you think that kid's good?
Yeah, no, I'm with Gary on this one. I don't see anything special about him right now.
Except that he's big, right? Like he's already built like Errol Spence and he's 17. But like once he outgrows 147, which is like yesterday.
Gary's just doomed a 17-year-old to mediocre status.
I definitely think like Omar Juarez is a better prospect at this point in time. Like I'm more interested to see Omar Juarez's next fight than
how old is he?
Nikki.
20. He's 20. Like
he's 20.
He's 20.
Yeah. Me and Nicky's like you just said 17.
The interesting.
No, he's not. He's trash. He's never going to win a world title.
He's not fast. He does. I mean, maybe he grows into his man body, right? Maybe he gets better when he goes through puberty.
Hopefully, yeah.
But right now, but why would you bet on that, right? Like, Dennis Rodman grew up when he was 19 years old. Well, maybe everyone will do that. Like, probably not. Like, he's probably not that good. Like,
I made no bets. I didn't just say he's going to be a fucking unified heavyweight champion of the world or anything like that. I just said he looked good. That was it.
Okay.
He looked fine. Like that. Like that's.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
He looked fine. And plus, like the competition level is so for all these guys. Like even Omar Juarez. Like
I don't know why you hate him, Gary. Why? What is he got a brother? Why do you hate this guy so much?
It's not hate. It's just like I look at him.
You were like, no, he's not.
If we're at a local club show, he's a good fighter.
17. Leave him again.
Looking at a PBC fighter, someone who they think could potentially become a world champ, which is why they signed him.
Yeah.
I don't see any.
I will say this though. Hold on, Rob, hold on. I do see more talent in Vito Milanicki than Hector Tanahara. I will say that though. Hector
Tanahara is the next Rances Bartholomew.
That means so little.
Wow. I bet he's hype.
He's the world champ.
He probably tunes in and been like...
Wait, hold on. Did he ever win a full WBA belt or just the regular belt?
No, didn't Bartholomew win straps at 30 and 35?
30.
I thought 30 too. No,
I don't think he ever fought at 30. I think he fought at 35 and 40, bro.
I know he fought at 40. I don't think he ever won a real world. No, he did win a. Wait.
I think that was the regular
decision. Was that for the regular or was that for the regular WB?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter because Francis was never really the guy.
And does it matter? You're using the word regular.
He's pretty good, Matt.
No, he is good. No, he is good. No, don't get me wrong. But like,
so he got a pretty good, and me and Nicky got a no. He's not.
I mean, like, I'll put it this way. Gary. Hold on. To say that a guy like is good enough to like maybe pick up a regular belt in 2 divisions is like kind of cool. Like that means you're probably a perennial like top 15-ish guy in those 2 divisions for your like tenure as your prime. But I mean, when we're really talking about prospects, Gary, you know this. We're looking for who's the next guy. Who are the next guys out there? Who are the next real elite world champions? The potential guys to compete all time, pound for pound. That's what we're looking at usually with prospects. You know that, Gary. Like, right? Like Figueroa, we're looking at as more in the context of, okay, like how great can he be? Virgil Ortiz, we're looking at in the context of how great can he be? What pound for pound names could he beat to be pound for pound? With Tenahara, we're not looking at him through that prism, through that context.
So I just want to put this out there. In 2014, Bartholomew won the IBF 130-pound title by beating Fernando Salcedo, then defended it once. No, by beating Argenis Mendez.
Okay, that's better.
And defended it once against Salcedo, and then went up to 35.
Damn, I forgot about that.
He did.
I forgot about that. Argenis Mendez. Oh my God, 130 is trash. Moving on. 130 is like 140 most of the time.
That's what I'm saying. Tanahara fought at 130 till recently. I don't know if he can still make it. He's a big guy. He probably can't. But I don't know. Train yourself.
Anyways, Tanahara didn't fight this weekend. I don't know how he got on Tanahara because it's Gary and he gets triggered about his Texas prospects. But in sort of the context still of the Wilder Ortiz fight, obviously Wilder Fury has been talked about ad nauseum since then, and even per Manuk Akapayan from LA Times, Deontay Wilder trainer JD's told me they're beginning camp for Tyson Fury December 31st. Steve Kim of ESPN reported that Bob Arum, in direct quote, said that the MGM Grand was lined up for that February 22nd fight. The fight's like made. So,
but Finkel on with Sky said they'll be finalizing a date and venue. He said it will be February, but they're finalizing the date and venue in the next couple of weeks. So
I think regardless,
it's done.
This fight's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like, are we all in agreement here, Gary, that like Wilder Fury 2 is next? No matter what happens, they're not waiting for Andy Ruiz, AJ. They're going ahead with Wilder Fury 2.
Yes, I agree.
Now, we think it happens first quarter, right, of 2020. Nothing, maybe moves a week, but like we're not thinking it gets moved to this summertime or something like that, right?
No, I'd say the latest, which is April, which is I guess is technically the first quarter, second quarter. But I'd say either the official date, but no later than early mid-April, something like that.
And plus, I think that they do want to stay around the Super Bowl sort of rub of Fox and ESPN. Are we satisfied with the Wilder Fury 2 fight? I feel like I am. I'm excited for it. I'm ready to see it. It should have happened already, to be honest. But
that's my only thing. Like, why hasn't it happened already? Like, I really want to see that Usyk and Ruiz start fighting. But like, we need to see it again because we need to get closer. So I'm good with it. It's great. I'm not going to complain about it. But like, it should have happened already. Like, there was no reason to fight those 2 European guys in a row, Otto Valen and
Tom Schwartz.
There was no reason for that. Fight one of them, and that's it.
No, he didn't need to. He had a 50-50 contract in his hand for a week, said nothing, then signed ESPN, signed the Tom Schwartz fight, then signed to the WWE. Like, Fury did absolutely everything possible to avoid and prolong this rematch.
And it will be
a bigger ago, Matt. Like, and I said, why wouldn't this fight happen? Why wouldn't the rematch happen straight away? And you said to me, and I'm gonna bring this back to you. You said you're asking an irrational person to make rational decisions. I guess that's not really logical, right? Like, you shouldn't expect Fury to do rational things because he's an irrational person.
Is it irrational to sign a $80 million contract or whatever it is?
No, but when you said it's not about the money, you don't care about the money. I gave all the money to homeless people because I don't care about the money. I'm rich already. Like, what do I need the money for? And then you get robbed in a fight. Think you can do it again. And then you say it's all about the money. I don't want the fight. I want the money. Well, make up your mind. Is it all about the money, or do you not care about the money because you're rich already?
I forgot about the whole giving the money to the homeless people. That never happened.
That's on you, though, Gary, if you believed any of that. I'm sorry.
He said, I don't care about the money. I'm rich already. How much money? It was like
Rob.
Wall Street. How many yachts can you jet ski behind? Right? That's what he was saying. I have enough money. My kids have enough money. I don't need any more money. I want to be the best.
Quickly, Rob, I just want to say this. For anyone that we talk about on this show, we hold them to the standard that they themselves have set. Right? Like, if you're out there publicly stating X and you do Y, we have issue with that. If you're Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, whoever it is, I think that's the issue that Gary's bringing up. Like, not that Gary's own standards for Fury or something. No, Fury said this, then he contradicted himself. That's a clear issue. Like, let's, you know.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
When Espinoza does it, we address it all the time. You know, when people do this, it has to be addressed.
Is Floyd coming back?
Oh, God, who fucking knows, man?
He loves the limelight. He's addicted.
2 days ago, he said boxing is a dangerous sport. I'm done.
He's not coming back.
Dude, he can't. That's right. He came out and said, like, no, boxing's dangerous. Like, it's too much damage. Like, I've had a good career.
And then Deontay Wilder said something like, Floyd will not give me my credit, blah, 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 blah. And then Floyd, that's it. Coming back, 2020.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did Wilder say before that announcement some sly shit about Mayweather?
Yeah.
Because you know, deep down in his heart of hearts,
No.
Mayweather doesn't think Wilder's any good. Like, you know that.
So peak Floyd clout chased his own promotional event.
Crazy. Yo, shout out to Floyd Mayweather being just such a petty fucking asshole. God damn it.
Yeah.
But moving on, I think we're all in agreement here that Wilder Fury 2 happens next. Whether it gets moved maybe a week or so, it's really not a matter of discussion.
I think I will go along with my countrymen and say February 22nd. He's been telling you all along. He's been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks.
No, he's been saying it for months, bro. If first off, also we got lucky in the sense because that date is possible because Wilder took no damage. Like, Wilder took no damage in the Brazil fight and the Ortiz fight. He's good. Fury is the one that we kind of had to worry about because of those cuts, honestly, now. Like, those are some... Hey,
he's British tough, or, you know, it's greater than Texas tough.
Those cuts were nasty. Like, those take time to heal. Like, maybe even, like, they never heal fully because those were insane cuts he had on his eye in that Otto Wallin fight. But digressing, moving on to the next card of the weekend.
Speaking of cuts quickly, do you remember Ricky Hatton used to cut real easy?
Yeah, of course.
When they opened him up because they were going to do some shit to like his, his pronounced sort of cheekbones and eye sockets were quite savage. From an old cut, there was crystallized Vaseline in there, and it was like shards of glass basically behind his skin. And that's why he kept busting up.
Yo, that shit's crazy. Like, there's some awful stories about people that have had like cuts and shit, and they've just aged poorly in terms of like damage, what's behind it, like stitches are still in your head or something like that. Shit's wild out there, guys.
Yeah.
Hell, there's a fighter that it was an MMA. He was a former UFC fighter. He was in a regional show, I think, like in Connecticut this weekend. There was no physician on staff from the commission there. Like, there's no doctor there.
Shit.
Like, overseeing the event. So he's cut up, and there's no one to stitch him up, and he's asking people in the crowd to stitch him up.
People in the crowd? Is there a doctor in the house?
Yes, he was literally doing that.
Oh my god!
Shout out to I think it was Connecticut. I don't want to get that mistaken, but shout out to the Connecticut Commission. But digressing, moving on to the next card of the weekend. Callum Smith defeated John Ryder via unanimous decision in perhaps a slightly controversial fight. I will say this. I've gone back and watched it twice now. First watch, I scored it. I wasn't really watching fully, I'll be honest, for Callum Smith. Second watch, I scored it 7-5 for John Ryder. I will be honest. However, this to me is, it's on that borderline of like, I think the consensus from most people out there is that John Ryder edged it. He should have won. So there is that nagging feeling of sort of the wrong guy got the nod, got the benefit of the doubt. And plus, when you add in, he is the promoted favorite, he is the champion. We know that there's been a long history of Eddie Hearn and John Ryder not really liking each other in a way.
It's been a career matchroom fighter, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they've had public spouts or spats, I should say, with each other in the past. It hasn't they have not been two peas in a pod throughout their tenure together.
Trains at the matchroom gym.
Awesome.
It's fine. I'm just saying.
When it has those contexts to it, I'm not surprised people are upset.
It's the cards they're upset with, Matt. It's not necessary.
No. I think people are upset. People are upset with the cards, yes, that the cards were wide. But people thought John Ryder won. A vast majority of people thought John Ryder won.
I thought John Ryder won.
Okay.
I knew you would.
Now, Rob, you know me.
I told you how good Callum Smith was and how this fight couldn't even be competitive. It hadn't used that.
Calling him Callum.
Callum. Not Caleb. You almost sound like Caleb. But anyways, digressing. Let me finish my point. I think regardless, you guys know me, I'm not really one to throw out the word robbery. Like, it's a big deal. I'm not that type of person. Like, there's a few fights this year that I felt that way. This is close to it. I'm not there yet. Very controversial decision, in my opinion. And maybe I think we can all agree probably the wrong guy got the nod. However, I think regardless of your opinion about this matchup, clearly we can all take away some significant takeaways from Callum Smith's performance. That his defense is significantly lacking. That his overall offensive game is limited. That if you take away his jab and that right cross, his game does falter in a big way. If you smother him, he doesn't really have the inside game that you would hope from a guy that tall and with that power to sort of develop because he needs to, because he is that tall. He needs an inside game because guys are going to try to get on the inside with him. This performance to me was more of a fight that was in line with like the Nicky Holskin performance. Others that have been sort of disappointing for Callum Smith that show clear technical limitations in his game, clear deficiencies in his game, and those do need to be adjusted. No matter your opinion on the scorecards, if it was a robbery or not, I think we can all agree, hopefully, that Callum Smith has work to do in the gym. That this was not a great performance, and there's also been performances that are like this, and now it's becoming not a norm, but it's becoming more of a regular occurrence where he has these types of performances. And he needs to address this in camp. Like, he needs to work on his inside game. He needs to work on his defense. He needs to, I think, work on his just overall quickness. Because there's times where he's a little bit slow. He's a little bit slow to the draw as well in reaction time. There's just a lot of work that needs to be done with Callum Smith, to be honest. Guys, thoughts on obviously the fight, the decision, thoughts on Callum Smith moving forward. Yeah, go. Gary, Rob, whoever wants to take the floor.
Rob, this is your family event.
For me, I scored it 115, 113 to Callum Smith, and I've watched it again, and I kind of got that again, but I can see some rounds that were close. For me, this isn't a robbery. It was a very close fight with some very close rounds, tricky to score. I tend to not give 10-10s, but I can go back and watch it and score a 10-10 because it was some really super close. Like Callum Smith did the work early, and then Ryder would get him up against the ropes. But for me, I think a lot of people off the back of the scorecards, which were shocking. Terry O'Connor 117, 111. Just a joke. It's the same. This ref has got a history. You could go on BoxRec, look at some of his cards. I think he done Joseph Parker 118, 110 against Hughie Fury. Everyone pretty much agrees that watch that fight. It was a close fight. Some had Fury's winning. Some, yeah, all right, Gary's nodding, but it wasn't close in Gary's eyes. But I think a lot of people are thinking that John Ryder done so much better than they thought. that he must have won, because wow, look what he did to Callum Smith. But it doesn't mean he won the fight. He just because he made the bookies odds look ridiculous. I think Callum Smith, you could have got 25-1 on favorite Callum Smith that night, and yeah, that for me that's it. I mean, it's a very, very close fight. I don't think it's near a robbery. You may think Ryder won it. I personally did edge it slightly to Callum Smith, and I'll be honest, that is not a Callum Smith's the main matchroom guy. I'm doing my Eddie Hearns thing. I've got no real.
We're not saying that, Rob.
No, I know. I'm just, people might do the whole, Eddie Hearn or whatever, but I've got no real affinity with Callum Smith. Like, yeah, he's a Brit and that, but I'm not like a big fan of the guy. I'm not like, it's not like one of my, I can't wait to see him. Because for me, Callum Smith kind of falls into that Billy Joe category. He just, until he has to look good, he just doesn't seem to. Ndam, yeah, he looked good on the Joshua card, but that was Ndam, it's like a career 160 guy, right? Come and fight this ginormous super
and a guy way past his prime.
Yeah, of course. And then like you say, the whole skin of it. But then George Groves, I thought he looked amazing. It looked fantastic against George Groves. Won in the bout, the Muhammad Ali trophy, and Ring Magazine bout. But yeah, for if you want people to push for you to be fighting a Canelo or to be fighting, you need to. I know some people think, if you don't look too good, they might take you because they think, they're not that good. But I think you push the public demand. Public demand will force that fight. So if you're out there looking like a beast, you're looking like a beast, you're looking like a beast, you turn it on every single performance. The public then go, oh yeah, Canelo, you fight that guy. You're now 168. You're now and put that pressure on. But I don't know. And the whole Anfield fight, I can't see. I just don't see it. Off the back of that, but yeah, I the whole week and especially after the fight, the whole robbery. I'm not part of the whole robbery thing. It was just a very close fight that was scored very badly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not part of the whole robbery thing. Gary, thoughts on the fight? It was just a funny way to phrase it. That's all.
Sorry.
Because I agree with that. I'm on your side, Rob. Relax. Calm down. No one's attacking you, Rob. It's okay. No one's attacking you.
I'm good. And Gary's trying to talk, but he was muted.
Oh.
Okay. A couple of things. First, I don't think there's a whole lot of controversy. Everyone knows who won the fight, and it was Ryder. Right? I don't think it's controversial. Ryder won the fight. You can say it was close, but Ryder won the fight. Right? I mean, he just won more rounds than him. Now, I do want to put a caveat on that. If you're a bad judge and you discredit everything Ryder does, kind of like when Porter fought Danny Garcia, people said Danny Garcia won. Oh, you got to discredit everything Porter did on the inside. If you're a bad judge and you discredit everything that Ryder did on the inside, then you could get a scorecard in favor of Smith, and I understand that. So I don't want to say it's a robbery because I see how you could score that fight for Callum Smith, but you have to be a bad judge to score it that way.
Fuck you too.
Yeah, Gary.
Do you think everything that Ryder did? Oh.
I want smoke.
Do you think he was ultra effective once he got Callum backed up on the ropes? Did he land a lot? I thought Callum showed up. A lot of it was on the gloves and the elbows. I didn't think.
But Callum Smith was not really effective throughout the fight as well. Like neither guy, I would say, was highly accurate with their shots. You had one guy that was doing a lot more, throwing a lot more, while being inefficient. You had one guy that was trying to be a sniper while being inefficient, being a sniper. It's a hard fight to judge in that way. You know what I mean? Because really, there were significant punches landed. Don't get me wrong, but there was nothing that was thrown that landed that caused any real effect by either gentleman. And you can see the frustration in Callum Smith. There were shots that he landed. There were a few right hands he landed clean, but there were only a few because he was missing them a lot. That you can tell he waited. He thought that was going to have an effect, and it just didn't. Ryder ate it, kept slipping, kept going to the body, and was just doing more throughout and in more rounds. You know,
your card, Rob? Did you give any of the first 4 rounds to Ryder, or did you give the first 4 to all Smith?
Did I have it 4-0 or 3-1 Smith? I can't.
Yeah,
I'll look it out. It's on a piece of paper downstairs. But I'll let you know my scorecard, Gary. But yeah, I thought Smith was quite well up in over 6, and then Ryder came back, and then like I say, there's some close rounds where I can see someone might have edged it to Ryder, and some might have edged it to Smith that particular round or whatever. So I don't know. It's not a robbery.
Controversial.
I don't want to call it a robbery, but it's approaching that, right?
It's bad.
It's bad, right? Like again, Matt doesn't think not the Canelo fight, the Triple G Derevchenko fight was a robbery. That's more of a robbery than this. That's a worse decision.
That was bad.
Yes, I could see a scorecard. Again, if you discredit everything Ryder did in the inside, I could see a scorecard for Callum Smith. I don't understand how you can score that fight for Triple G. I truly don't understand that, right? Like that, it makes no sense to me. That card, and then the Munguia Hulk Hogan fight was way worse. That was ridiculous.
That was bad too.
There's worse decisions than this, for sure.
Definitely.
Did you say you gave it 7-5 to Ryder?
I gave it 8-4, then I scored it again, had 7-5. So I had 7.
We're getting closer. Watch it a few more times, and we'll be on the same page, Gary.
I can't see any more rounds to give him.
Moving
twice.
Moving on. This card was not the deepest, I will say that. Anthony Fowler fought Harry Scarf in a decision, and Fowler, I know you're a big fan of Rob. Rob, you're a big fan of Fowler here, but Fowler, you're looking a little bit old, if I'm going to be honest here. Like, you look like an old man fighting, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like if Fowler was in his mid-20s, he was a pro fighter, and his career would be different. But he seems like his body seems like a mid-30-year-old guy trying to find it late after a very long amateur career, and he just sort of lost his athletic window. Or he just isn't that great of an athlete, and he's been a huge overachiever because he's technically makes up for not being a great athlete. It's either really one of those.
Quickly on bodies, I just want to back to Callum Smith.
Bodies.
I don't care what his team say or what he says or anything like that. I think 168 is a struggle now, personally.
It's always been.
If he goes to 75, he gets iced by Joe Smith, and then he largely becomes irrelevant on an international level.
And if Tanahara makes 175,
how do we go to Tanahara again?
It's just always your guys.
It's the go-to. It's the go-to.
My little favorites.
I'll put it this way. I think a Joe Smith fight is very tough for Callum Smith because Joe Smith will get on the inside and throw combinations, and Callum Smith doesn't really shorten up his shots. Like that, he just literally does not shorten up his combinations to throw to the inside correctly, and like he's gonna have issues with, especially a guy like Beterbiev. Oh my God, Beterbiev will destroy Callum Smith. But I do think this: certain guys he could be like. I still think he could have a good fight with Dimitri Bivol because Bivol's not a guy that's gonna really work on those issues that Callum Smith has. You know what I mean?
What I was thinking. If I think I'd pick Callum Smith to win that fight.
Both guys want to box at range, right?
Yeah, and that's what you don't want to do with Callum Smith.
And he's not going to be physically small. I know he's built weird, like he's built like really skinny and long, but like Bivol's not a big guy, right? So I don't think he'd be at a, he wouldn't be at a size deficit against Bivol, right? They'd be similar weight in the ring. I think Smith could win that fight at 175, although he wouldn't definitely win. That would be the fight I would go after if I were him.
I think it's funny that it's not funny because we know styles make fights, but like that you think Joe Smith beats Callum Smith, but not Bivol. Like Bivol's really like, oh wait, Callum Smith could win that one. It's really hilarious.
The other thing is, this guy wants to fight Canelo. The way Ryder got on the inside and worked him, that guy wants to fight Canelo.
And all of a sudden, like the Canelo power that was displayed at 175. I think.
Don't fight Canelo, Smith. Don't fight Canelo.
Please don't. I think Callum Smith. I think he doesn't even move up to 175 though. To Rob's point, he absolutely does. I think it's clear he has second half issues in fights. He clearly does.
I'm pretty sure Joe Gallagher told, I think it might have been Nick Pete from Fight Disciples, that I will not let Callum fight under 5% body fat. and in the Ndam fight, he was 5% body fat. Like he was at that mark, so it's borderline for this.
Is Callum Johnson? Is he 68 or 75?
75.
That's a good introductory fight. They should fight.
Beterbiev down, remember?
You want to go straight to Beterbiev?
No, he's saying Beterbiev fought Callum Johnson.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, and plus, it's an in-house fight. Like you could easily do that. I'm in favor of that matchup. Yeah, that's a good fight. And it's it's a domestic fight that I think is a legitimate top-level fight at 175.
Doesn't Gallagher train Johnson?
Ooh, does he? Well, if they're training partners, then maybe they won't fight. Oh, that'll suck. But good training partner though to have, to be honest, because
Fowler.
Anyways, digressing. Undercard of Callum Smith, John Ryder, Rob. I only watched the Fowler fight, to be honest, and I didn't think he looked that impressive. I think we see him hit his ceiling. He's hit his ceiling already.
But I don't know.
His ceiling is still fine domestic level.
I felt he didn't go looking. He wasn't like really. I thought it was a more controlled performance from Fowler. I think Scarf eventually became a little bit negative, and Fowler was a bit more business-like and didn't perhaps go looking for it. He got in with a nice sort of, I think it was an uppercut in the round before that, but the bow kind of came too soon, and then he got about his work. So I know what people are sort of thinking and saying, and we'll see. He's potentially going to get the Fitzgerald fight, the rematch. But I get where people are coming from.
Look, it was fine. Like, I thought he looked good for the first 4 or 5 rounds, pressing the action, landing right hands. I thought he looked good. It's just then, again, I'm not going to criticize his performance. I thought it was a workmanlike, his professional outing. He took care of business. He won most of the rounds. He scored a knockdown. I mean, he may have won all but one round, really. It's probably 9-1 with the knockdown, 10 point. You know what I'm saying? It was wide.
It was, yes.
Again, he took care of business. I just don't think there's anything ultra impressive about him. But he's going to fight Fitzgerald. How about if he fights Kell Brook? I mean, let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got against a real good fighter. I mean, like him and Fitzgerald and Cheeseman, they're all kind of the same level. I don't know what beating or losing to those guys really does for your career. Go fight Kell Brook. You can keep.
Fowler would become the British champion if he beats Fitzgerald, right? So I know it means nothing to an American, and especially a Texan, but it's quite a big deal over here.
Fight James Kirkland.
That's so good. James Kirkland would beat him. I just think that you deal with anyone that's athletic, that has some pop, that can get on the inside and work Fowler, they beat him to the punch every time. I'll be honest. I think he struggles at that top end. I think Kell Brook beats him too. Like, I just think Fowler's a good domestic level fighter. He's a good card filler guy. That's a great career to be that.
That's all he is. He's fine, yes. Right? But let's find that out. Let's make sure that's all he is, right? That's what I said. Again,
quickly. Hector Tanahara is Anthony Fowler in a few years. Gary's like, damn, that's such a good point.
No, Francis Bartholomew. I think that's a good comparison.
No, because Francis actually went to like a WBA regular belt, which means you're roughly around the top 10. Fowler's never been in the top 10 level.
Oh, he won an Intercontinental. So he'd be like top 15.
Who did, Fowler?
Yeah.
Top 20.
He's got...
Well, no, I would put him in the sanctioning body's top 15 ranking.
Yeah.
Now being in an organization's top 15 doesn't make you a top 15 fighter in that weight class.
But you brought up but I'm
talking about if you are fighting for a regular WBA belt, that means most likely you're in the you're most likely in the national top 15 rankings or the ring top 15 rankings. You're most likely a name in that ranking. In the sort of consensus, all sanctioning bodies combined, what's the best 15 guys? If you're fighting for the regular belt, you're probably in there. Just being honest, that's usually how it works out. Not saying that's not legitimizing that belt. That belt's still trash. It's still garbage. Fuck the sanctioning body. Fuck that belt. But just speaking relative to their ranking level overall in the division, usually they're around that top 15, top 10 level.
I'm glad you've agreed that Barrios is at least a top 15 guy. At least we can agree on that.
No, yeah, he is.
Okay.
No, Barrios does, especially at welterweight, because welterweight's top heavy. Barrios slips in that top 15 probably. Absolutely.
140 now still for the time being.
140, same thing. I would say the same thing there. So yeah, I agree with you, Gary. Fowler though, he's right around that top 20 bubble, right around there. He's never really fully gone into the world level because he's never really gotten over that British level hump. He's still there. He's still fighting the Fitzgeralds. He's still fighting that level. He hasn't really beaten them and moved past them.
Let me ask you, right?
Sorry, very quickly. Tanahara, respectively, he's only going to beat like the domestic U.S. level guys, never get to the world level and beat them.
Fowler beat Rose, remember, former world title challenger.
Sure.
Good win. That's a good win. Like, Rose is a professional. If you can beat Rose, you're a good fighter. You're not trash.
Did I ever say Fowler's trash?
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a good. No, you didn't say it was trash. I'm saying, like, if you can beat Rose, you're
I might have actually.
pretty decent.
I might have actually said he was trash. My bad.
Rob, like, I always want my Texas guys, right, to go fight the next level. Like, go test, right? Do you want him to fight a higher level fighter, a world class fighter, and see what he's got, or do you want him just to collect a bunch of wins at a domestic level?
I'd like him to win the British title before we see that like next level test. I think he's at British level, so let's see him beat the guy who's the British champion, and then
get over that level.
Then go for, like, I don't know, look for European, because that has proven to a lot of guys at British level to, you know, they threw Cheeseman in there, Ritson, and they, you know, came unstuck when they got to European level. So
what about could he beat Sam Eggington?
That'd be a good fight. That'd be a fun fight.
What was the name of the guy Eggington fought last?
Frido Giglio.
God, I can't believe you remember that bullshit. Moving on.
IBF, didn't it? He got him like the IBF.
IBF something. Yeah. So he's probably Fiat was ranked pretty high, like in the top 10 by the IBF at that. Not anymore, obviously, but at that time, he was in the IBF's top 10.
Any other thoughts, guys, on the Callum Smith, John Ryder card?
Callum Smith got a good fight with Glover. Came out on top, so he's turned the tables after the loss to Riakporhe. Who else was on the card?
James Tennyson. That's when my DAZN app was bugging out and it shut down 3 times, so I didn't even go back and watch it because it was James Tennyson, and I heard he lost too.
Was that the?
No, he won. No, James Tennyson won.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I watched it and it shut down. It froze on me. My app froze on me the first 3 times.
Craig
so he just made that up.
Craig Glover lost. I don't know who that is. Tom Farrell lost. Stephen Smith won. Shout out to Stephen Smith. Always liked watching him fight.
Is that Stephen A. Smith or is that a different Stephen Smith?
No, it's one of the Smith brothers. Remember, he's the guy that had the the ear that was like hanging off that one time. Right? Isn't that Stephen Smith? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then there's Paul Smith, Stephen Smith, and Callum.
And then Liam.
And Beefy.
Yeah, all the Smith brothers.
Callum's a baby.
Yeah.
He's the youngest.
Just like the Alvarez brothers, the youngest. Canelo's the youngest of the Alvarez brothers, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so, because Ramon looks fucking
old as shit.
He's like me right now.
Oh my god. Moving on. Andrew Cancio lost to in the rematch against Rene Alvarado on the Golden Boy DAZN card. We're gonna get to the whole.
If I was him, I'd fuck him off. If you can't hang on to your title, get rid of him.
We're gonna get to the whole Golden Boy letting him go issue in a second, but first we're gonna talk about obviously the fight itself and the card itself, then get to the whole Golden Boy bullshit there. But Cancio just to me looked outgunned here. Like Alvarado looked on point. He was landing combinations at will, and his combinations were clearly affecting Cancio early. Cancio never got into a rhythm as well. This was really almost a one-sided beatdown in a way that I was not expecting. Like I expected, to be honest, Cancio to win this in a competitive fight because he's made adjustments. He's looked better in the past than he did in the first Alvarado fight, but Alvarado came out of fucking nowhere, to be honest, and put on a stellar performance. Like I was truly stunned by Rene Alvarado's performance. And shout out to just the Alvarado brothers in general, Felix Alvarado as well. I know the Cancio fight's not set anymore; that got canceled. But Alvarado brothers are on point right now. I was really surprised by how easy this was and how devastating it was in terms of the defeat. Guys, thoughts on Rene Alvarado defeating Andrew Cancio in the rematch?
I thought Alvarado looked really good, and I was shocked initially. All right, but then I thought about it. He's got to win over Shapakov. He's got to win over Jason Velez, and he's got another decent win. Like I know he's got 8 losses, but those wins shows me that and he's a pretty good fighter. I know he's been used as an opponent and things like that, but he's got some quality wins. So this shouldn't have been as shocking as it was perceived to be, right? I don't know where Alvarado goes from here. I don't know if this was, the best he could do, and he's going to, because he's only 30, but he is 30, and he's been in a lot of wars. I don't think he's going to age. I don't think he's going to fight at a high level till he's 35, 36. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how much he has left, but his combinations were sharp. He was physically stronger. He physically hit harder. I mean, he looked really, really sharp in that fight. I don't know. I would have loved to see a third fight between the two of them, but it looks like now we're not going to get that.
And quickly, he has not lost a fight since the Gamboa decision in 2017, and that was a little bit controversial as well. Obviously, he lost to Manuel Avila, Andrew Cancio in the first fight, Joseph Diaz, and Eric Hunter, and Rocky Juarez, and Jezreel Corrales. He lost all those guys, but he did beat Robinson Castellanos as well. I think that was the other name you're thinking of. That was a decent win. Castellanos is a decent win. But he hasn't lost in 3 years, basically. He's on clearly a streak here from a rocky middle road in his career. I wonder what he's done. I wonder if he's changed camp. I wonder if he has a different trainer now. Because there was clearly a stretch here where he was losing one, winning one, losing two, winning one. And that happened from like 2014, 2013, all the way to 2017. And he's been undefeated since then. I'm curious what he's done in camp to adjust to that. But he's looked good. And to your point, Gary, I do wonder, since he's a guy that's had wars, he's been beat up a lot. I do wonder if this is just more of a rarity in the case study of his career, or are we really seeing a career renaissance in Alvarado? But digressing, really fun fight, fantastic, real showing from Alvarado because I didn't expect him to look like that. Rob, I know it's been a little bit of trouble to watch this one because it was not shown in the UK. Do you happen to see this one?
Yes.
Thoughts on the performance from Rene Alvarado?
Yeah, he done good, but surprised me. I was expecting Cancio to look good and probably stop him maybe mid to late rounds or something because he looks, Cancio can crack pretty good, and I just didn't see this coming, and we'll obviously get to that other stuff shortly, but shout out to Alvarado, done his thing.
Santiago with the boxing factoid of the day. The Alvarado twins become the third set of twins to win world titles and hold titles simultaneously after the Charlo twins and the Galaxy twins. Shout out to Koze Galaxy. What a pull right there. If you don't know who Koze Galaxy is, go check out his resume.
Shout out to regular bouts counting in that stat. This was the regular bout, no?
Yeah, but yes, but no. Yes, it is, but no, because he beat the man. He beat Machado, who beat Corrales, who was like the real champ. And then they just said, no, you're not the real champ anymore. We're going to make the real champ whoever wins between Tank Davis and a guy who's never fought at the weight class before.
And then after Tank leaves, sorry, you're not going to be elevated. We're going to make Leo Santa Cruz
never fought at the weight class. Yeah.
Who's fighting Miguel Flores. That's going to be for the real belt, not you, Cancio. Sorry, buddy.
When you look on Box Track.
No, you're right. You're right, Rob. From a technical perspective, you're probably right that that's not true. I think from a connotation standpoint, like from what the culture is stating right now, this is true. But you're right from a technical perspective. You are right. That's a good way to bring up.
We're giving them any credit,
No, hey, that good point, Rob. That fuck the WA regular belt.
I'll keep the standards up on around here. Don't worry about it.
Because you're right. Because I keep thinking of this belt or this fight as a legitimate title fight at 130. Not really Leo versus Miguel Flores. Like I don't think of that as now the legitimate 130-pound champion. Sorry, Leo.
There's lineage to Cancio's belt, right? That goes back to Corrales. There's no lineage. They just gave the winner of Santa Cruz Flores. And Flores is a career 126-pounder who moved up to 130 after he lost, right? He only beat two irrelevant fighters at that point, right? So it's like neither guy did anything at all at 130. And let's have him fight for a world. a world title. That's ridiculous.
No, but Rob's right to bring up the technicality, and because of that technicality, fuck the WBA. Moving on though, still speaking of the WBA regular championship, god damn it, Xu Shan defeating Manny Robles in a really, in my opinion, one-sided beatdown. Holy shit, Xu Shan is a guy that he reminds me in a lot of ways of like the old Leo, who would cut off the ring in like a majestic way, throw combinations to the body with just pinpoint accuracy and unrelenting volume. Xu Shan is looking fantastic as this volume fighter that completely is aware that he doesn't have the power, but he's going to throw 1,500 punches in a fight to beat you. And you're going to try to slip and roll out. And guess what? He's going to be on you like white on rice. He's going to be on you consistently. And he's going to cut off the ring every step of the way. I mean, that to me was the most impressive part, was his ring generalship overall. Yes, his volume was obviously impressive, but Xu Shan was cutting off the ring better than most pressure fighters. Like, he was doing it in a textbook way. Like, I want, like, every fighter, every amateur fighter that maybe listens to this show to watch this fight and just look at his feet. Look at the way he's moving and cutting off the ring. It was perfect. Guys, thoughts on Xu Shan's performance against Manny Robles III?
I thought it was really – I thought the fight was competitive for the first couple of rounds, and then I thought he pulled away. But what I'm really surprised with is, like, a lot of time high-volume punchers really aren't accurate. Like, it's quantity over quality. He sharpshoots with his punches and throws pretty sharp punches, which for a guy that throws 100 punches around or more really is usually not the case. And then you're right, he cuts the ring off. He's got a bright future. It's just I don't know if the lack of power is going to catch up to him at some point.
Yeah, that's the one concern, obviously, is that he doesn't have the power, and he's not a defensive wizard, so that means if you have another guy that's going to step to him in that way and try to match him with volume, but actually has power, it's going to be just automatically a tough matchup for Xu Shan, just naturally speaking. Rob, your thoughts on Xu Shan's performance against Manny Robles III?
No, I know you don't like CompuBox, but I want to know, of the average 130 punches he threw per round, what was the success landed? Because fuck, you don't need power when you can do that. You just batter your guy into submission, almost like just make it stop. Like, it's terrible. It's like machine gun fire, right? So yeah, no, Susan, shout out, man. We're right behind you on this channel, despite you repping the wrong level of that bout that you have, but it is what it is. But I know there's talk of Shakur Stevenson and Josh Warrington, but if that falls out, if we can get Susan and Warrington in the ring together, I think that would be a great fight to watch.
Or Susan Stevenson, like, talk about a true test. Talk about like a real test for Shakur Stevenson. If you're not going to get Josh Warrington as that test, the next best thing would be Xu Shan, who's really going to step to Shakur Stevenson and test his defensive mettle.
I just as in like Warrington with his kind of work rate. And
of course, yeah. No. Warrington, Xu Shan is the better all-action fighter of the division, of course. But in speaking of just great fights for the division, all these pairings right now are fantastic. 126 featherweight period has had this parity of just great fighters at the top forever. They just haven't been fighting each other.
Yeah.
What about King Tug, Matt? You'd be torn in that one.
He's dying right now. He's about to die. I just need to keep the channel, and I'm good.
I'm sorry, guys. You guys know I'm still sick and fighting like bronchitis or some shit. King Tug versus who? Xu Shan?
Yeah.
I'm picking Xu Shan. Like this, he beats a lot of guys. King Tug is a guy that he wants to be in control. He's one of those fighters I could talk about a lot, that like control is the number one technique or strategy they value. Like it's not the jab, it's not throwing to the body, it's not aggression, it's control. King Tug is one of those guys. He likes to be in control.
Like that.
You hate guys like that?
Yeah, they just want to be in control.
The controlling guys, you hate them? I know. I hate
what
controlling
I mean?
men.
You hear what I'm saying, Gary? Fuck.
Yeah, girlfriend. Moving on.
I was just referring to you.
Oh, fuck you. I'm not that controlling. Digressing. Shushan would definitely take King Tug out of that control and out of his element. Shushan could beat everyone in the division, but probably Josh Warrington, Gary Russell Jr., and maybe Shakur Stevenson. Right?
King Tug's. We're past him on this channel. We're Susan.
We're Susan.
We're all over Susan.
Moving on. Rashidi Ellis defeating Eddie Gomez via unanimous decision. And God, this was just a fight that was not needed. It was a really dominant fight, in my opinion, from Rashidi Ellis. I know like there was moments of competitiveness, but Ellis was just better. Like every moment it felt like. Was the better athlete, was the better boxer, knew what to throw at the right time. This was the most unnecessary fight, and I felt like all it did was kind of actually hurt Rashidi Ellis' stock in a way that it didn't need to. When this was a great fight and a dominant fight, but the first fight ended in the third or second round, maybe in the first round KO. This was not needed. I am ready for Rashidi Ellis and Virgil Ortiz to either fight each other or to actually fight elite competition. I'm done with them fighting the Herreras of the world, the Eddie Gomez of the world, the Brad Solomons of the world. Fuck out of here with that. Fight better competition, please.
I thought Ellis's performance was good. I think there may have been a little ring rust because he's usually a little sharper, but it was all there, right? Like you can see the craftiness, you can see the crisp combinations. I think he just, he has been out of the ring, 13 months, and for a young kid, that's a long time. But no, I give the performance a B+. I mean, it was good. It's just I think there was a little bit of ring rust there, and I think he shook that off now, and I think he's ready. Let's put him in with Virgil Ortiz, or let's put him in with a top 15 welterweight. Let's put him in there with Kell Brook, or I don't know. You want to put him in with Hooker, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, all those fights make sense to me, to be honest. But I know Hooker is staying at 140 now. Is
he fighting at 144?
His next fight is, I think, but I think he did come out and say, I talked about it on Friday's show, that he is staying at 140. So, shout out to Maurice Hooker, not listening to anyone that's been listening forever.
I thought he said he owed it to his fans because he wasn't his best at 140. What happened to that?
Moving on. Stitching back to the whole Cancio topic. Cancio was released from Golden Boy after this loss in probable connection to his recent comments that were a little bit anti-Golden Boy. You can find it on the LA Times. He talked against the sanctioning bodies as well. Just came out and sort of talked against the industry, which he deserves to, and he has every right to. And then he loses, and obviously Golden Boy lets him go.
Whereas Ryan Garcia did it, and he got a bumped-up contract.
Well, of course, because he has 900,000 Instagram followers or 1 million Instagram followers, and Cancio has how many? I don't know. I don't even know if he has Instagram. I don't, to be honest. Steve Kim was the first to break it, but Manuk Akopanian from LA Times has a lot of quotes from both Cancio's team, his manager, his trainer, and Roberto Diaz, the matchmaker for Golden Boy Promotions, who had this statement to say: "We wish Andrew all the very best of luck and hope he can find what he was missing here at Golden Boy with bigger money and bigger venues." I feel like that was a lot of disses at Cancio, but in all honesty, if we're being honest here, guys, this is more of an indictment on you as a company, Golden Boy. If you can't promote a guy like Cancio in the LA area, that's on you. Honestly, right? Like if that just shows that you're a bad promoter. And you releasing him after he's criticized you shows that you're an even worse promoter. So, Golden Boy, who has a long history on this show of being shitted on, is going to be shitted on here probably for the rest of the show and for the rest of the show's history, to be honest. Because this move is just so shady and despicable that it almost made me throw up when I saw it. Like, I literally had that baby vomit where I'm like, no, this is disgusting. Okay? This is so revolting as a news story that I can't believe more people aren't talking about it. to be honest. Like, this should be major headline news in all of combat sports and all of boxing, because this is unethical business, in my opinion. This is almost downright criminal in a way. Like, if Cancio was an employee, this is criminal. Golden Boy is very lucky he's an independent contractor in the way our laws are set up. Okay? Because if he was an employee, this is 110% illegal. And even as an independent contractor, he might have legal ramifications against Golden Boy for this, to be honest. It's just pathetic that they did this. That Golden Boy thought that they could do this and get away with it. That no one would come after them for this. No, I'm going to come after you, Golden Boy, for every day of my life if it takes, until you fucking address this and make it right. And don't just say, hey, wish you the best of luck and hope you sell out bigger venues. Motherfucker, that's your job. Why didn't you do that for the man? Okay? Guys, thoughts?
As a 1099 independent contractor, you still have some legal recourse.
Yes, you do.
They're going to have a case, too, that's saying it had nothing to do with that. It was just because he's not good or whatever. I mean, they're going to have a defense in their side.
Course, yes.
I don't even know if he goes that route because, again, is it a scumbag thing to do? 110% is a scumbag thing to do. I think that Cancio is not going to have a problem getting picked up by another promoter. Like, he's had 3 big fights. He's a fun fighter. I think he will get another big fight with a promoter. He'll get signed and he'll get another fight, and he just has to win that fight, and then he's fine. Now, if he wins that fight, I don't know, but I think he'll get that fight. I think there's enough people who know who he is, enough people who are entertained by him, who like his story, that he will get picked up. Now, that doesn't make it okay what Golden Boy did. I'm just saying, like, I think there's for Cancio, I don't think that this is like he's never going to get a meaningful fight again.
I will address that. I think he will obviously probably get meaningful fights again, but I think it is far less likely to see him get picked up by a major promoter. For the reasons that, like, Rob joked about in a way, but, like, isn't a joke. Like, Ryan Garcia came out and said basically the same things almost that Cancio did. What happened? He got a big fat contract instead. Right? Cancio loses, they kick him out the door. Right?
I mean, to be fair, Cancio, it's not like he hasn't got a job.
No, he has a day job. I know Rob's joking here, but
I'm joking. Look,
this is a sport and a market now that is having, like, that is sort of deflating on itself in a way. We already have people from, like, DAZN, and speaking of lowering down contracts and lowering down purses for fighters, that day and age is over. I would say in an age where the ESPNs and the Fox are looking for the very biggest names of the sport, and that's really it. And everything else is just, surplus stock that you buy up for, a premium price or a discount price, I should say. I don't know if Cancio gets picked up. I don't know if Cancio gets picked up in a big deal by a major promoter or network. I think it's hard for guys moving forward to catch back on this wave that everyone else caught on a year ago.
And a possible opponent for Tevin Farmer, maybe, like a one-off with DAZN or something like that.
But in that same sort of thread, Tevin Farmer has not signed his contract. There's 3-fight contract. No.
Yep.
Let me finish my point. With Matchroom, because, and for what we infer, because probably the contract is of a lesser value than his previous one. Because is Tevin Farmer really bringing in the subs to DAZN? Probably not. Is he a guy that's producing 7-figure revenue for DAZN? Probably not. So DAZN's probably going to offer him a slightly less valued contract. I think Cancio was benefited from this last year, obviously, because his paychecks were good. But the wave is he crashed. He's off the wave now. Those that are still on can ride it for as long as it's going to still go till it hits that beach. But Cancio's off the wave now. I think it's very hard to get back on this money wave in the current market.
I think he gets another meaningful fight, and let's say it's against Farmer or like
very quickly. Like I said, I think he gets a meaningful fight. Does he get a contract and a deal with the promoter and network? No, I don't think he does.
What if he wins that fight Like he can win his way in, and I don't think it's unreasonable. I mean, I know he did not look good, but he looked good in his last 2 fights. Like if he can win his way in, he'll get another chance. Then just win, baby, win kind of thing.
I mean, obviously, similar to the Golden Boy deal that he sort of stumbled on in, right? Like he won his way into this position. Absolutely, he can, but it's not like he can go now to an ESPN or a Fox or PBC or Top Rank or whoever and say, hey, I'm now available, and they're going to offer him a big deal and contract. I don't think that happens.
Probably not straight away. No, probably not.
And that's my point. Golden Boy did this fully aware they were pushing him out to a market that was no longer fighter friendly, because the market isn't. It's changed. It's very friendly for the very top as it has always been, but the market's changing, guys. DAZN has already come out and said it, and expect other network execs like Fox, ESPN to come out and say the same thing in the next year. Okay? Because the only one that's slightly had success this year was Fox. Everyone else has failed this year or has had diminishing returns. And in the same time, all the inflation of fighter costs and fighter pay has gone up across the board. Cancio was a part of that wave. And again, I don't think he can catch back on it. But digressing from that point, I do think he can get a big fight again, but a big deal, it's going to be harder to do. And Golden Boy is just absolutely trash for what they did here.
What was Golden Boy? Like, Golden Boy's got Rashidi Ellis, right? Like, what have they done with them? Like, I mean, like, being dropped from Golden Boy, it sucks because you've looked, but like, what were they really doing for you anyway? Like, they don't promote.
Gary, I understand your point entirely, but I'm talking about like job stability and security here, right? And for a blue collar guy like Cancio, that matters, right? A consistent paycheck, consistent job, a consistent brand that has your back. You can't just replicate that if you're Cancio. He's not Ryan Garcia. He's not certain guys that if they take an L, their star power, their drawing power is enough to float them through that period of time. I don't think that's the case here. You know, like for example, like Rene Alvarado, does he have a deal with Golden Boy? Did he have a good deal when he was taking all those L's? Probably not. Maybe he has a deal now because he's on a winning streak because he won his way to this position. But guys of that blue collar ilk, they don't get job security, and that's the issue that like I'm upset with, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck Golden Boy. Moving on. Speaking of DAZN though, because we were talking about DAZN a lot here. Because that was a DAZN fight, DAZN card. DAZN might have some major news here coming up in the next few days. Per Mike Coppinger, sources, a welterweight fight between Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas that would be streamed by DAZN has been discussed for the first quarter of 2019. Eddie Hearn has been pursuing Mikey for a while now, and if he can sign him to a multi-fight deal, Vargas could be the first bout. Guys, thoughts on this? I have my own theory and thoughts, but I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Gary, Rob, who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, a bit out of the blue. I think everyone thought Mikey versus Pacquiao was done. So, I don't know, maybe there's a spanner in the works with as far as that fight's concerned. Is this because Danny's getting the Pacquiao fight because Errol's in not going to be back in time? Is Floyd Mayweather getting the Pacquiao fight and Mike is looking elsewhere? Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, a bit out of the blue because I know Eddie's and I know Leonard Sterling has a mad thing with this, but it's like I don't know what Eddie's fascination is with Mikey Garcia. He's not a star. He's not this. He's not that. But yeah, Eddie's always said at some point we will work together, but it seemed like it wouldn't be just yet. But maybe it will. Who knows? But Jesse Vargas, I mean, it was 154 last I checked, and now he's going back down to 147, I guess, unless Mikey's really daring to be great. I don't know, but no, very surprising to hear that come out. But yeah, Gary.
First, I just think that Mikey staying at 147 is a big mistake, right? Like, I mean, if he can't get the Pacquiao fight, just go back down to 140 and fight some of those guys, right? Like try to get a Josh Taylor fight. Fight Hooker. You can fight Hooker in Dallas, and that would do okay. Like there's fights from at 140. Staying at 147 without the Pacquiao fight, to me, doesn't make sense. So, again, I'm okay with the fight. I just don't think he should be staying at 47. The fight's fine. I think Jesse Vargas is a good name to fight after a loss. I think he should win the fight. It's just, I don't understand. I don't see his long-term picture being at 147.
Look, here's my thoughts on all of this bullshit. One, somehow in 2019 and going into 2020, obviously, because this is more about a 2020 fight, even though Coppinger is wrong on the date because he actually put 2019 instead of 2020. Minor typo there. We are somehow dependent on numerous big fights on what the hell Floyd Mayweather does. And that's fucking irritating because I think all this stems now from, are we getting Mayweather Pacquiao too? Because if that happens, then hold on. If that happens, then obviously the Pacquiao Mikey fight, which seemed like a pure lock, is no longer on the table, obviously. And therefore, Mikey has to figure out something else to do. And maybe he's looking at a DAZN offer compared to a Danny Garcia fight and thinking, I'm going to make more money with this DAZN offer, and he's going to go that way. However, I'll be honest here. If my gut tells me we don't get a Mayweather comeback in May, this has all been Mayweather trolling. We still get Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia. This doesn't happen. And really, this is used in the same way that Wilder used his deal or his sort of negotiation with DAZN as a bargaining chip to then go back to PBC and the respective networks and say, hey, they just offered me this. Pay me more. I think Mikey is doing that the same way. And that's business 101. So I really don't think we get a Mikey Garcia Jesse Vargas fight because A, that fight sucks. I don't want to see it. It has no relevance of any division at this point in time. Jesse Vargas has been fluctuating from 154 to 147 and fought Humberto Soto and people like that for the last 2 years. I don't really care to see him fight anyone relatively decent or high level like Mikey Garcia. And Mikey, for the love of God, get off of 147. If we're going to fight at 147, I'll take the Pacquiao fight because, whatever at this point. I'll deal with that. Plus, personal beef between me and Gary. I want to see Pacquiao beat Mike Garcia, so I'm right and Gary's wrong. But other than that, I'm over this. And plus the entire issue now stems from Mayweather fucking the situation up. This is just crazy. That in 2020, because that's when this fight's going to be most likely, we're still reliant on what Floyd Mayweather decides to do in boxing for 3 other fights to be made or not get made. That's insane.
The 3 years older than Luis Ortiz Mayweather.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows? We'll just wait on that. But you could be right on a business front. Look, this is what DAZN were going to offer me. Match that, or I'm going over for a fight over there, or it's not like this would be the only time that money's been mentioned because we heard, in the camp of Mikey Garcia saying Eddie sent that's one hell of an offer, for along the last few months. There's been offers already, so he kind of knew what money was there. So yeah, interesting, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that news.
Yeah, it's definitely came out of the blue, and it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? This is one of those sources that I'm just a little bit far-fetched.
Well, imagine that this is on the Robbie Williams, Liam Gallagher undercard.
No. And brief point about that Eddie Hearn, that's been apparently a real thing. I will forever not subscribe to DAZN and pirate all of their shit, and I will stream their fights on Twitch illegally for other people to see, just to piss them off. Okay? Because, fuck you, DAZN, if you are really thinking about that. And if it's just an Eddie Hearn, hey, let's do this celebrity boxing fight in the UK shit, Eddie, what are you smoking, man? Like, come on, man.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
That'd be great.
Anyways, so just for the second, none of us think this happens, right? I feel like none of us are believing that we get a Mike Garcia Jesse Vargas fight on DAZN next, right?
No smoke without fire.
I'm not ruling it out.
No. Okay. Yes or no? Do you think it happens?
Like gun to my head type of thing.
No. Yeah. Yes, Gary. Of course. You have to have opinions here. It can't be Foogatti. We replaced Foogatti for that reason. Do not sit on the fence.
No, it doesn't happen.
Rob.
Yes, it happens.
Rob, you fucking troll.
How do you? He's gonna get the Pacquiao fight. I can't. What's Eddie offering him that's gonna make him turn down a fight for money and for legacy? I can't see it.
Why would it have even raised its head?
Look, we heard a year ago. Okay, it's not a year ago, but it seems like a year ago that we were gonna have a Mike Garcia, Danny Garcia pay-per-view in August from Mike Coppinger's sources. That didn't happen.
This isn't from Coppinger's sources, though. This was already stuff.
Look,
I used stuff and you.
Dude, you sent me like some random person on Twitter.
No, I sent. Who else was it? Someone from ESPN.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, well,
you send me again, please. I don't know what you're talking about. I definitely saw you send me that one weird person that sent something that has like that had 20 followers, and you replied to him, Rob.
What?
I said the dude had 20 followers, and you replied to him.
I replied to him.
Yeah, it looked like you replied to him. Anyways, I just think that we're talking about Mike Garcia here, and he's almost in that like Tyson Fury boat now. We're like, you're asking somebody that's irrational to do rational things. You're talking about somebody that's been out there just saying everything. Mike Garcia has said everything. I might send to Bob, might send to PBC, might send to DAZN. I don't know. Maybe it might happen for a year now. Okay? I don't trust a goddamn thing from that camp, from any sources in that camp, until we hear like a official press release. Because they have said everything under the sun. Right? Like we've heard every pairing, every deal, every negotiation with Mike Garcia for a year now. Even before the Spence fight, we heard the same thing. And he hasn't changed. It's still PBC fights. So I don't know what Mikey's doing, man. I don't care anymore. Like he's in that boat. I don't care. Like all the news with Mikey Garcia now about rumors and sources, none of that shit matters because we've been hearing it for literally a year of crazy, wild matchups that none have happened. He hasn't even fought since the Earl Spence fight, for God's sake. Like, we're talking about a guy that's fought once this year, and that's chosen to do that. Literally, everyone's offering him the biggest fights possible with all the money. And you're like, I'm just going to sit here and just make headlines. Shit's annoying.
Danny Garcia's fought once this year, too, by the way.
He didn't fight in the summer?
He fought. When did he fight? The only fight he has this year is Granados, right?
Oh, that's right. Well, that's because they were supposed to fight in August, right? And that fight didn't happen for whatever reason. Just bullshit, man. Moving on. Bob Arum was, unless you guys have any further thoughts about Mikey Garcia and Jesse Vargas. No? Cool.
It was Renato Bermudez / ESPN that I think originally came out with this at 3:15 yesterday, I think. Whatever, but
3:15 yesterday. Okay. Send me the link. Did you send it?
It's in the banner chat.
All right. I'll look at it later.
It's gone
I don't know that name, so I just want to look at him later. I want to see what his work is. You know, because like Salvador Rodriguez, another guy from ESPN, I believe. Like I know he's in the ESPN. I don't know anything he does, but I know he's been there forever. You know, because he's in the ESPN Deportes department. So like I never see that content because I don't speak Spanish. Moving on. Bob Arum was interviewed by Lance Pugmire, and I mean, where do we start here? There's a lot to dissect in this article, guys. Yes, there is. First off,
10 past midnight, is there?
You want to save this for another show, Rob?
You can do it if you want. I was just
Hey, right, Rob. If you want to stop the show and we save this topic for tomorrow, I can do that.
Back tomorrow, Matt. Let's come back tomorrow.
Okay, we can do that, guys, and talk about the fights coming up this weekend. We have Oscar Valdez fighting this weekend, and God, who else? There's some other fights. I feel like there's a lot of DAZN fights too. I think Brackus is fighting this weekend.
It's the Monte Carlo card.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 DAZN cards this weekend, guys. So just keep an eye out for that. A lot of international boxing, it seems like.
And then the big one.
Oscar Valdez, Gutierrez.
No, December, the following week.
Oh.
After this week.
Oh, I thought we were making a joke about Oscar Valdez fighting no names.
Charlo Hogan. Sorry, my bad. Ruiz Joshua.
That is next week, huh?
The following, yeah.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God. Oh, no, the following week, huh?
December 7th. Yeah, we've got, 30th at the end of this week.
Oh,
Okay.
and I wanted to correct something. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought the Joshua Ruiz fight was the 14th. So it is up against the SEC championship game and all those bowl games, all those conference championship games. That's not great for DAZN and Eddie.
I know I was right, but you talked me into it. Like they changed it.
I thought it was the week after the Charlo Hogan fight.
No, that's
the UFC amazing event with 3 title fights.
I was not thinking of that.
Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, Amanda Nunes on the card, and also who else? Who am I forgetting?
Isn't it Crawford Kavalauskas as well?
Yeah.
Timo Lopez, Comey.
And yeah, TFP.
God, I hate that main event. Ugh.
I thought those cards were the same week. I don't know why I thought it was the 14th.
Do you think?
I think AJ Ruiz is on its own. I don't think it's competing with anything, honestly.
Do you think Crawford waits for the UFC event to be over?
Well, I'll be honest. They're gonna. What's ESPN? So they're gonna try to, I think, angle it.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to organize it in some way.
They get the Heisman Trophy running as well, don't they?
I'm thinking probably the boxing event's gonna be late. To be honest, I may guess that one, guys. Sorry.
Late on the East Coast, right? It's East Coast.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be late.
Yeah, they don't do staying up late very well.
I think they're gonna try to make the UFC event earlier. To be honest, I could be wrong about that. But digressing, guys, we're gonna cover that Bob Arum article by Lance Pugmire, which has a lot of stuff in it about the nature of boxing, the nature of ticket sales, how he needs to move to more international events, and a little bit of sports washing for corrupt governments in there. I'm probably going to rant tomorrow, guys. Just expect that.
Also, UK listeners, potentially brace yourself that BT might be showing top rank cards. I think that's.
I'm surprised they haven't had that relationship yet.
I think it's going to be maybe a joint thing. Possibly Stevenson and Warrington will be the first sort of top rank / Queensbury Promotions UK event.
Mergers. And also we're going to talk about on tomorrow the Breedis Glowacki situation, then Glowacki Okoli, which is probably going to happen next.
Okoli.
And also the whole Greg Cohen, not promotions, because just Greg Cohen himself going to prison, guys, for 6 months.
Goes my boy money.
And also Dillian White, Marius Vac.
Is that official?
I don't know. Umar from IFL said he listed all the heavyweights that are going to be in December in Syria, Saudi Arabia this weekend. It could have been next weekend. And he said, "Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?" And he included.
Wow, you're right about that. I didn't think about that because we haven't heard a white opponent official, but he brought up another heavyweight name. Could be. We're going to definitely talk about all that tomorrow. And plus, the fight's coming up on this weekend, of course, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. in the UK. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Rob?
Rest in peace, Box Nation. I think they will be officially pulling down the curtain on Box Nation. We had it good for a little while.
That thing was still running?
Yeah.
What fights were they showing?
A little while back, they would have picked up Vojtik and Beterbiev, but when they didn't get this one, I think the writing was on the wall. And I think officially the curtain is being brought down on Box Nation. So yeah, we had it good for a little while. Lots of cards, lots of from around the globe, but it's finally done. But yeah, as you can see on the screen, because funky little overlay shit going on. But UK Rob MCR, Instagram and Twitter, and you can follow Gary at Gary.
Gary. I love it. You can follow Gary at 3D Boxing Blog. Gary, final thoughts.
Yeah, since Rob's the college football guru now, I was asking you, since the Crawford fight is following the Heisman ceremony, who do you got? Who do you think is going to win the Heisman?
What does that mean? The best player?
Best player in college football. Like, for example...
in college football. How the fuck would I know, man? I don't give a fuck.
Right. Joe Burrow of LSU and Justin Fields of Ohio State. It's really a two-man race.
Is there one from Alabama?
I literally have no idea who those guys are.
He's kind of falling off. Like, he's not good. I mean, not Jalen Hurts. Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback from Hawaii, but he's falling off. He's not really... He was, like, probably the preseason favorite to win the award, but he's falling off. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who played for Alabama, but transferred.
You know, Gary, if it wasn't like 15 minutes past midnight, I'd love to chop this up with you a little bit longer.
It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. I don't want to chop this
I
up.
know, I was just being polite. I was being British about it. You know, any other time, it'd be fine.
Nah, you British people are cunts, man. What are you talking about?
Hey, what?
What?
What cunt?
That was so good. Oh, hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, patreon.com/Mixed Comment Radio. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. That's UK Rob. Find him, UK Rob, MCR, all platforms. That's Gary. Find him, 3D Boxing Blog, on all social media platforms. And you guys have a great day, great night, great evening, wherever you are in the world listening to this. Peace.